Hey, I want to before we go back to the calls and do any more sound, I want to talk a little bit just briefly about what's going on in Puerto Rico. One of the things that we're doing with the fund, and hopefully by the beginning of the new year, I'll be able to do a full accounting of what we're doing with some of that GoFundMe money. But in addition to the Cernovich video, we're going to be donating some to Puerto Rico. And the latest coming out of there, and there's reports that they're up to 70% power. Understand that 70% power does not describe the number of citizens who have power. It describes the generation of power relative to what it was pre-Hurricane Maria. So we don't know whether or not that power is actually reaching people. If your power line is down, it does not implicate the amount of power generation that is taking place. So the number of people without power is probably closer to 50% than it is to 30%. There's also about 1/3 of the island's 425,000 homeowners are behind on their mortgage payments. These are payments that, of course, were made to Wall Street firms that had previously brought up distressed mortgages. Tens of thousands have not made payments for months. Some 90,000 borrowers became delinquent as a consequence of Hurricane Maria. So the vast majority of people who are delinquent is because of Hurricane Maria. So you would imagine, I'm sure banks have suspended payments and will do so until we get back to some sense of normalcy. However, they've just extended it, I think, until 2018, which of course is in a matter of weeks. More than 100,000 people are believed to have left the island to go live with family and friends on the mainland. There was a federal government temporary moratorium on foreclosures, but that will expire, like I said, in early 18. Lenders have agreed, or at least some, have agreed to waive payments during that time, but again, back in early 2018, that they will start insisting on more payments. So just understand that the disaster, it's a rolling disaster. A rolling disaster in Puerto Rico. And of course, you've got these companies that are offering anything from, remember, when these mortgage servicers put a home into foreclosure, we know this from David Dayen's work, they make money off it. They keep making fees. So they're not, when they've already bought these properties, they were distressed properties to begin with, distressed mortgages. So they're on the hook for a lot less. And then you've got people making fees. You even have a situation with the reverse mortgages. Apparently, particularly in Puerto Rico, a lot of these reverse mortgages are guaranteed by a federal insurance fund. So take, for instance, Finance of America Reverse. It's a Blackstone Group company. They offer a reverse mortgage. It's guaranteed by the federal government. If you're older than 62 years old, you're selling off your house in some way. You have equity in a home. I don't know. Let's just pick a number. You have $100,000 worth of equity in a home. Each month, the reverse mortgage will send you some cash, basically a loan against that equity. When you die, you got to pay off the loan and the interest. There are 10,000 reverse mortgages in Puerto Rico. Finance of America controls about 40% of the market. There's an insurance fund that guarantees the lender will be repaid on a reverse mortgage, which is also, contemplate this for a moment. You get to charge a VIG on money that you loan people. Why? Because theoretically, there's a risk that some of these people you loan the money to are not going to pay you back. That's the theory. right? We get to charge interest because we're risking the loaning of this money. But the federal government has stepped in and said, we're going to guarantee you get paid no matter what. So basically, it's another situation where it's like, because I have money, I'm going to charge this interest, and I'm going to experience no risk whatsoever of any potential losses. On top of that, if Finance of America sells a foreclosed home for less than the value of the mortgage, the firm can make a claim to the insurance fund to make up the difference. So you have taxpayers on the hook for all of this. But we're not giving the money to the people who are in distress. We're giving money to the people who are essentially victimizing the people who are in distress.
Or as Republicans call it, a win-win.
Well, yes, but it's also very similar, frankly, to the way the Obama administration handled the foreclosure crisis or the budding foreclosing crisis in 2008. So, that's why I think
Wall Street.
David Dayen sort of implied that he was going down there maybe to do some more work on this, because it's the same story again, slightly different, slightly modified. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos